Seeing the current state of Valorant competitive is like seeing a friend of yours just slowly succumb to drug addiction and is just slowly dying of an overdose. I've been playing this game since episode 3, act 1, and honestly, the only thing I can really say is that I feels like almost every new episode, the game is just slowly going more and more downhill. And that's because just a series of new problems that keep coming out or have just been getting way worse because Valorant just simply isn't doing anything about it. Now, the first major issue that Valorant competitive is facing has to be smurfing, and the reason why the smurfing is still such a giant problem is because number one, the way to get smurf accounts and like gaining access to accounts that are ready to basically play in low ranks is becoming easier and easier to get, and because just Riot Games simply isn't doing anything about it. Now, the reason why it's become so easy to basically get a Smurf account and basically play against like complete shitters is because people have basically found ways to mass scale bot accounts in which they'll basically run like hundreds of accounts at once, which will be basically in deathmatch playing with judges, basically just all playing really badly. But the reason why they're all botting is so they can level all of these accounts up to level 20, so they can then mass sell these accounts, these like ranked ready accounts, for like $5 a pop, $10 a pop. So if you're a Radiant player or an Ascendant player who's like getting sick of like playing in their ranked, you could just buy one of these accounts to play in low level lobbies and basically just bully people. And what makes this worse is that Riot Games is effectively doing nothing about it, or at least the bare minimum. And the reason why Riot is basically doing nothing about it is simple. They don't care about competitive integrity at the bottom level. The only thing they care about is money. And proof of this is because now most people, when they like Smurf, they don't spend any money on like these Smurf accounts. But there's like, I would say like at least like a 5%, 10% who do also end up buying skins on their alt account, because you know what, they're like, yo, if I'm gonna play on the Smurf account, bully shitters in like, I don't know, Iron, Bronze, hey, I might as well, you know, get some skins. So they'll buy a Smurf account, but they won't just buy a Smurf account, but you know, they might buy a knife, they might buy a Vandal, and Riot Games wants that $60 or that $80 that people are gonna be also spending on their Smurf account. And although Riot Games claims that they care about competitive integrity, which they do to a degree, they will throw away some of that integrity to get some of that sweet money moolah. Because at the end of the day, Riot Games is a business. If you genuinely think that Riot Games gives two flying fucks about you, you are mistaken. Alright? If they can make like some extra money off of ruining the ranked experience of some of you low-level shitters, they will do that. And it's honestly really sad and really scummy, but that's just the sad reality of it. And that is why, in my opinion, this whole smurfing problem is never ever gonna be solved. The second major problem in Valorant competitive also has to be just overall AFKs and throwers, and just the overall lack of punishment that these players get. Now, when I'm talking about throwers and AFKs, I'm like talking about like, let's just say you're in a game and on round like 5, you'll just have like 1 or 2 teammates that will just leave the game. And you're basically put at a massive disadvantage, you and your entire team, because now the entire game, you're gonna be playing with one missing player, or you'll even be like that one player that in order to not trigger the AFK detection, they will like hold W and basically make it that their character is always walking forward and spawn. And this effectively just makes it that players can AFK and throw with basically no punishment. And the reason why I'm like, oh, it's kind of annoying that these players basically get no punishment is because, on the other hand, when it comes to voice chat and text chat, Riot Games moderates it super strictly. If you say like shit or fuck one too many times in voice chat or text chat, you can get like banned for like first like like, I don't know, 48 hours, then it goes like a week, 2 weeks, a month. So how come if I just like say a couple bad words, that's enough to have me literally banned from playing competitive for 2 weeks? But when I literally throw games for my teammates on purpose, that's perfectly fine, because the only thing I will lose is maybe some RR, and that's basically it. And of course, I get it. You know, if someone's like saying the N-word, the hard R, like the slur every game, of course that player needs to be punished. But why? But you cannot be punishing people for just words, but then on the other hand, just let people completely throw games without any punishment. And I think this is another proof of just Riot Games simply not giving a fuck. Because somebody having a bad game experience because a thrower is basically not that much bad publicity. Meanwhile, the reason why Riot Games is caring so much about voice chat and text chat is because having a toxic game is like bad for press. So I think this is another example of just Riot Games only doing stuff because it makes them look bad and not actually giving a fuck about the player experience. Like, yeah, they could probably find better ways to punish throwing players, especially when there's like video proof, or, you know, punish players at AFK. But because there's not that much bad publicity that they're getting from it, that's why they basically do nothing about it. And just when you combine the smurfing, the throwers, the AFKs, it just creates a super just unfun competitive experience, because even if you're like better than your rank, you can't rank up unless you put hours and hours of time and basically just practically get lucky with matchmaking. So basically, first you gotta get lucky that there's not a smurf on the enemy team, and then you gotta get lucky that there's not an AFK on your team on round 2, and then lastly, you need to get lucky that there's like not some like piss baby on your team who like picks Sage, walls off your team, slow orbs him, and just throws the game because he's like super fucking funny. And just overall, I really wish that Riot Games would basically do their job and try to fix this game, but it's very clear that they just don't care. At the end of the day, the only thing they care about is those damn $60 in your wallet so that you can buy the fucking Reaver Karambit. If you're not here to buy the Reaver Karambit, kill your... So yeah, that's basically the video. Hit the like button below and subscribe if you enjoyed. And also, I have my own personal Discord server now, which is going to be linked in the description below. I am planning to make some like custom game videos where it's like, oh yeah, there's like some custom game modes, or maybe I might be doing like some competition, like Riz competition. I don't fucking know. So yeah, check out my Discord if you're interested for that. And I'll see you guys all later. Goodbye.